Welcome in, everyone. I hope you are all doing great. Happy to see you here as always. We have a very important topic to talk about today, and that is some new rules and the shifting and changing of the rules of engagement put in by President Donald Trump, what it means, what exactly will happen, how it will all unfold. It's a pretty big change from the Biden era. In fact, it's a significant shift when it comes to targeting bad guys. We're going to get into all that and much more. But as always, please make sure to like and subscribe and comment with your thoughts below about what you think about the change and how you think the new rules will be used to target the cartels and bad guys around the world. So let's just jump right into it. This is a report from CBS News about President Donald Trump. And before everyone says, oh, it's CBS News, it must not be accurate, Pete Hegseth weighed in, the Secretary of Defense, and confirmed it, which we're going to get into as well here in a second. So this comes from CBS News. President Trump has rolled back constraints on American commanders to authorize airstrikes and special operations raids outside conventional battlefields, broadening the range of people who can be targeted, according to U.S. officials with knowledge of the policy shift. The quiet but seismic recalibration dismantles Biden-era mandates and signals a return to more aggressive counterterrorism policies Trump first instituted in his first term. It continues, during his first overseas trip earlier this month, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, in a meeting with senior U.S. military leaders from U.S. Africa Command in Germany, signed a directive easing policy constraints and executive oversight on airstrikes and the deployment of American commandos. The move prioritizes flexibility by giving commanders greater latitude to decide whom to target while relaxing the multi-layered, centralized control former President Joe Biden implemented over airstrikes and raids by American special forces. U.S. officials told CBS News on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly about national security matters. One senior Defense Department official told CBS News that Biden's warfare policies were carbon copies of those established by former President Barack Obama. During Biden's tenure, airstrikes typically focused on senior leadership of terrorist organizations. Now, with this change that Trump has implemented, it is going to be much broader, much looser, saying the official added that Trump's approach carries both risk and rewards because the streamlined process can potentially degrade former terrorist organizations' capabilities faster, given the lower threshold required to strike and widen target selection. But there is a risk of a flawed decision coming in the pipeline. So then, after this report came out from CBS News, Pete Hegseth, and I'll throw it up on the screen right here for everyone to see, Pete Hegseth hopped on X and just had one word reaction to CBS News report, and it was simply correct. So now let's get into what this means and how this might change and or impact things on the battlefield given the context of everything going on. So how exactly might this impact what we see, whether it comes to targeting people in the Middle East, Africa, South America, Central America, in theory in Asia if you're hunting people, and of course Mexico. One of the big complaints you often hear from guys in special operations is that they feel the rules of engagement are far too restrictive, that they're essentially having to fight with one hand tied behind their back, that they're not able to use the full force and weight of the United States military to go after targets, whether it comes to they need to wait to be shot at, seeing weapons is not an automatic green light like it might have been at one time, just the way they have to approach the situations. I've had SEAL Team 6 guys tell me that if they had to shoot someone, they would then have to write up hours worth of reports, and it just was a huge drain on morale. It was a huge drain on their energy and just the motivation to keep going. These are war fighters. These are guys who are purposely getting involved in special operations, a very dangerous job where they know they're going to go out and they know that they're likely going to get in combat. They're going to get in shootouts. They're going to face the enemy. They're going to go toe-to-toe. They want to be able to hit these people as hard as possible, take the handcuffs off, smack them around, do what needs to be done, get on the helicopters, and then leave. And during both the Obama and the Biden administrations, the rules were very restrictive. Obama changed the rules of engagement during his first administration, really rolling back people's ability to engage potential targets, essentially needing to wait until the last possible moment. And then at that point, it might already be too late. If you're going to put people into a war zone, you have to give them the tools and the rules to do the job correctly. And that's what President Trump is doing here. He's rolling back restrictions, and he's opening up the opportunities to go after bad guys. So instead of needing, a insanely high threshold to take out a target, that threshold's been lowered. According to CBS, who can order that attack has been lowered. And this allows the handcuffs to come off. This allows the United States military to use everything at its disposal. And if they see a target, they're able to immediately go hit that target. There's not a million lawyers who have to get involved. There's not a million phone calls that have to happen. They can identify a target, either hit it with an airstrike or use ground elements like the Rangers, Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, things of that nature. But what does this mean for the cartels situation? Because that's front of a lot of people's minds. So let's break down if these new rules will have a major impact possibly in Mexico. When it comes to Mexico, and if these rule changes will have a massive impact when it comes to the cartels, I might surprise some of you right now, but my early indication, my early answer for that would be probably not. Probably not. A commander in special operations is not going to order a strike on a cartel inside of Mexico. This is not Syria. This is not Somalia. This is not some other nation over in the Middle East where we might have people. This would be carrying out military action inside sovereign territory of an ally of the United States, even though the Mexican government, as we all know, is incredibly corrupt. I do not see this rule change right now having any impact whatsoever in Mexico. If we're going to do something in Mexico, I can guarantee you that call is going to come from one person and one person only, because he's the only one who would have authority to issue such an order, and that would be President Donald Trump. So you're not going to see some colonel ordering airstrikes inside Mexico, or a colonel in JSOC or a general in JSOC ordering Delta Force and SEAL Team 6 to roll in and start hitting cartel targets. If that call comes, it's coming from one person and one person only, and that's President Donald Trump. And remember, we've had previous reporting that there is a split within the White House about whether or not they want to work with the cartels, whether or not they want to work with the Mexican government and risk information leaking to the cartels, or if they want to go in it and do it alone, knowing that they can get it done, but then you risk alienating a country right to your south that you share a huge southern border with that we've had a lot of problems. So in closing, I think these new rules are going to have a huge impact in the Middle East, Africa. You're going to see ramped up efforts. You're going to see a threshold get lowered to hit targets. However, in Mexico, as of right now, I don't think you're going to see much change, just because going into Mexico, only the president is going to be able to order that. And he might. We're not ruling that out. Certainly, they've taken a lot of moves in case he wants to do that. But you're not going to see anyone lower than Trump ever issue that order. That's simply just not going to happen. Maybe I'm wrong. I just cannot envision a scenario where someone other than Trump ever issues that order. Let me know what you think of the rules of engagement changing, the rules for striking targets changing, loosening up. The handcuffs are coming off. It's time to let American warfighters do what American warfighters do best. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. As always, like and subscribe. I'll see you all next time.